Garage is totaled. Working on like 4 different projects at once right now. And because if I put anything away, my brain tells me that that project no longer exists, so then I don't actually finish any of it. So that's how it is. I gotta work around this, finish the car, get that out, make more room, finish the other projects, all that crap. So anyway, the brakes have showed up. So now let's open these up and see if these are proper rotors this time. Okay, we got one. All the holes look perfect. All the slots look perfect. And Jesus, these are way better quality than the last ones. They're like anodized and everything. Damn. And that's a right side, so hopefully this is a left side. Okay, so we got a right front and a right rear. Come on, left side. But they're even marked, left and right. This company is way better than the first one. And there we go. Now the vanes are completely straight, so there's really no reason to label them left or right. Maybe it was just for their shipping department, so they actually know which side's which without having to look at them right away. Increases production time. They probably label them right after machining. So whatever. So I mean, realistically, 400 bucks isn't that bad when you consider that locally they wanted 150 each for the front and then 120 each for the rear. That's like $540. So I saved $140 and they're drilled and slotted and anodized and everything. The ones locally were just like the cheap solid rotors, like exactly what I took off the car, except aftermarket, not coated, anything. So they're just, I don't know, junk rotors. So from the time the first set of rotors and everything appeared, it was June 13th. That's when I picked up the car, I brought it into the garage, I started taking everything apart. But then the rotors ended up being garbage, I had to send them back. The person started ignoring me, even after they said that they would give me a return label, and then they just didn't. They also just tried to tell me that I'm wrong and the rotors are completely fine and there's nothing wrong with them. And I even sent like close-up pictures of how all the machining marks were completely garbage and uneven and everything. And like there was no attempt at balancing the rotors or anything. So they're like, no, it's fine. You can put them on any side. They're just like regular rotors. And I was like, well, no, they're not. Like if they were regular rotors, they would work. But because they're machined and everything, you've removed a bunch of weight in offset areas. So now they're going to be out of balance. Not to mention they look like complete garbage. And the slots and stuff were all like angled or whatever because their machine sucks or the parts slipped in the CNC. So anyway, got that sorted out. Had to get eBay involved. And then they sided with me, sent me the return label, packed everything up, sent it all back, submitted all the pictures and everything of how it was packed to eBay just as proof that I packed them up very safely and there's nothing wrong with it and nothing could go bad on my part, just in case that company like tried to scam and say that I didn't pack them up well enough or something, or they got damaged in shipping, or just trying to avoid any kind of further issues. So those are submitted to eBay. They ended up issuing the refund. I ordered new rotors. Now it is July 16th and these have just arrived. From the time that I received the first package until now, it has been 33 days. So for 140 bucks just to get the rotors in town, it seems a lot better considering that I could probably get the entire project done in one day. But I was still waiting for the caliper and everything, and then locally those calipers are like $300-400. So that's not happening because that's for like a cheap rebuilt caliper, and there's no guarantee that it's even OEM. It could be a rebuilt aftermarket one. I ended up buying used, really low mileage OEM calipers. So the calipers only have like 44,000 kilometers on them. I think that's what the listing said. It was something like that. 48,000 kilometers? I don't know. That's irrelevant. Time and price saved are two very different things that you have to take into consideration. The entire project alone, I think I spent like 600 bucks, and that's for 2 new rear calipers, because if one was bad, the other one was probably close after. And then all new drilled slotted, plus they look cooler and stuff, and I got to paint the calipers and stuff, so it looks like a more successful job to me, is what I'm trying to get at. I can finally take these off, slap the rotors on. They still have the anti-seize and everything on there, so we're not going to have any issues with them seizing on, and it's going to be pretty straightforward. We'll clean the grease out from the slide pins on the front and the rear, put new grease in those. Everything is perfect, and then I just have to bleed the brakes, and then it's done. It's finally done. It took a little bit over a month, but it'll finally be done. And then just when you thought the fun ends there, that's when I get my truck back, so I have to do a whole bunch of work to that thing. That's gonna be awesome. Also, the steering box that I ordered for my truck never showed up, and then Amazon insisted that I waited another week, only to find out that it was completely lost in shipping. And then they gave my money back, and I went to go order a new one, and they're now sold out. Welcome to Canada, where finding anything is a fucking headache. Like, it's just a goddamn Dodge Ram. Live in the goddamn middle of butt-fuck nowhere. Everyone drives a goddamn pickup truck, and you can't find frickin' parts for them. Like, it's a steering box. That I don't know, I waited like over a month for that thing just to get my money back and then not even be able to order another one. So I'm gonna have to try and find another source for them. Plus, like, they're expensive as shit. They're like over $1,000 Canadian once they're shipped and everything. So like, that sucks. And like, every single place in town doesn't even carry them, so you gotta ship them anyway. So you might as well save money and order online. I don't know. Let's just get these stupid brakes done so I can start yelling at the truck and hate my life even more, and then give you guys the entertainment of watching my mental health slowly decline. God damn it, I just sideshow bobbed myself. That hurt. Oh my god. You can see some uneven wear there on the brake pad. So that's from the inside of the rotor, not wearing evenly, which means that the caliper was probably starting to seize. So the slide pins weren't working fully, so a lot of corrosion was building up on the inside. And if you actually look straight down, you can see that this side is a little bit taller than this side. So it's actually a good thing that we're doing the front as well. Okay, so super fun. I just realized that they didn't include pads. Like noticed, these pads have lots of life left. So I just cleaned them up, 40 grit sandpaper, just grind off all of the glazing, make sure they're completely level, because this is the one that had that giant step all the way in it, and you can see that it is nice and flat now. So these will still work fine. And this one here, I'll just line up the set screw hole very lightly, to make sure that's tight. Perfect. And now we can start greasing everything up. Those are all greased up. Slide that through. And it's hard to see, but the little slots are right here. Come on, get in there. Now just put some grease on the ears. Gotta fish this in here. And you want to have the brake pad sensor wire come up right by this notch. So that way it lines up with the holder and everything will be fine. Now we'll slide those all the way in. Clip the pad in place. There we are. Now this one here can just slide in place. And just make sure those ears go in. And then just clip those in place. Just make sure the pad surfaces are clean. That's it. Now we can install it. I got the bolts right here, ready to go. Make sure those aren't interfering. Perfect. Get this out of the way. Now we just slide it on. Just give it a wiggle. Make sure the bolt's threading in. Basically, you have to get this side in, and you get this down. There's this little tab right here, and this tab has to go in that hole, and that's how you seat it. But you can't like put it in because these are in the way, so you have to link one under it, then try and get this piece in. Just try and get right in through here, pry on this corner. I get this in here, then I'll push this up as we're prying. Because if we don't have this in here, we pry this, you can see that it's pulling this down. So we want to have two pivots. When I have one here to pull it down, that's going to force it in. And then the other one is going to push it up because it's going to be pivoting off of this one. There we are. Now we just want to hit it into place. Done. Now it's all linked in, it's all centered, and everything's good. Alternatively, instead of taking these out, if you're just doing pads and not the whole rotor, you can just take these caps off, and then in here is a 7mm Allen head, and that just removes the slide pins. And that'll just allow you to remove the whole caliper as one full unit with the pads and everything in it, and then you just slide it on and you're golden. But because we're doing the rotors, you take the hanger off as well. And I was painting everything too, so it was just better to do the whole thing, which is why I only removed the 21mm bolts instead of also removing the 7mm Allen heads. It does also make assembly a little bit easier if you remove the 7mm Allen heads, because then you don't have the entire thing as one full unit while you're trying to attach it, so it makes it a little bit easier. But we still got it done regardless. We didn't need to take those out. So now I'm not going to torque it yet because I like to do everything at the end just to make sure that it was all done and I don't forget a corner. So I'm going to do the other side and then we'll come back when I'm doing the rear. Front is now completely done. Now we can do the back. So now the first fun part here is when you don't put something down through the brake fluid and it goes everywhere. Now I get to lay on all this cardboard. Oh yeah, that's classy right there. To reassemble this, we have to get these bolts in here, right? Remember, the short one goes in the top and the long one goes in the bottom. And to get at those bolts, we have to take this wrench right here and we have to get it in here. Right in here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. That's the nut that we have to get this 21mm wrench on. And now a 21 on the impact washer. Where's the nut? Oh, Jesus Christ, that's hot. Okay. Okay, so just hammer that out. So now we can just remove all that rust. Yeah, okay, good. We have more room on the bottom so we can actually fit a ratchet in there to get it back on. And this is a 13, but it's still finger tight from when I put it together. These I've already taken apart, put new grease in when I was putting them back together. This is gonna go here. Short one on top, so I'll just go right in here. I'm gonna just start threading that in, so that's good. So right in this area here. So we take this, we just put it in there. So wiggle it until it locks in with the bolt. Now we want to get these as tight as we can just by hand, because getting tools in here fucking sucks. We need an 8mm Allen head, and we're just gonna get that right on there. And you gotta make sure this is in there as much as you can. And these bolts are 55 foot-pounds, 75 Newton meters. That's about 55 foot-pounds. Click. Now, that's the only part that I can't do to spec, because getting something in here for this bottom one, you're literally going in this tiny little hole right here to try and get this bolt. So you don't have a lot of movement at all. My torque wrench is a 1/2 inch torque wrench. I would have to use a 3/8 adapter to 1/2 inch, and then the 1/2 inch torque wrench in here to the ground. So I don't have an equipped shop to do that, and I don't have a short 3/8 torque wrench. So anyway, that's on, that's done. I'm content with that. So now, because I didn't get new pads, gotta clean this up. I'm mostly only concerned with the mounting surfaces. Everything else is, I don't want to say cosmetic, but I mean, like, a majority of this doesn't touch anything. It's cosmetic enough that I'm not gonna care. Not for a daily anyway. Okay, so that's good. And now we just gotta clean the end right here. Okay, that's good. Next. Now, before we put those in, we can just snake the rotor in. So that's just like that. Just make sure that's tight, not too tight. Now we can put these springs on, and we only care about this surface right here mounting. Now put the brake pads in, slide them in, and push it in place. Now we can take the caliper, and with the piston compressed, just slide it on. Now we want to get this top bolt in first, and I'll show you why in a second. So now we just want to take this little spring here, and now we can put it down. It sits right there, and on the top. So when I was putting the caliper in, I slid it up onto this one first, put the bolt in, so we have a pivot, pull this down, slide that on, and now we can put the bolt in. So that's done. These two bolts right here, these are 35 Newton meters. So that's 26 foot-pounds, 25 and change. We can do the brake line. That is a 13 as well. So I don't know if you can see this right here. There's like a little channel right here. You can get right onto the brake line. So I'll just crack that loose, and then it just comes right out by hand. So now we just take the brake hose bolt, put a gasket on it, make sure the mounting surface is clean, put that through, put another gasket on it, and now we just put it right back on. Oh my god, this is annoying. I wish I could friggin' see what the hell I'm doing. And now remember, this is like a finger tight bolt. You do not need force to put this back in. If you're using any force, you're cross-threading it. Or there's stuff stuck in the threads. Either option is not a good one. So, I don't know how the hell you're gonna see this, because I can't even see it. Yeah, let's just precariously balance this $2,500 phone on here. Perfect. And then just try and kinda, oh my god, get this in here, that there, and then just get this pin to line up with that slot, and then just start threading this in. Now, make sure that's on that pin. So now we can just send it home. Now we just gotta get this back in there. I'm jacking this up so that way we can get this toilet in the whole goddamn car. Go line that up. Now you take the bolt, get it through here, get it through the shock, get this weird little square washer, and now get the nut. Somehow acquire an extra joint in your arm so you can get it under the axle. Okay, so I can't actually move my hand, so I gotta try and thread this on by hand using the bolt. Now, take the wrench and try to get it in lightly. Zip this back on. Not crazy tight or anything, so that way we can still torque it. Now we can shove this through here. Make sure not to rip that rubber. Perfect. Put this on, in like this, and then twist. Now we just have to get this cable in here. Like this. Right, give it. There we go. Perfect. So now let's just test it out. Perfect. Now I just gotta torque these, jack this back up so there's load on it, and then torque that. And then I just get to repeat the entire goddamn thing to the other side. I just torqued everything down. I have all the wires and everything ran. And the bolt here and the one at the bottom are beefy boys. So those ones are going to be 200 Newton meters, which is 146 foot-pounds. Now, as for these bolts back here, everything is torqued. At least everything that I could get to is torqued to spec. Everything that I couldn't exactly get to, I tightened as close to the spec as I could get. As any, senior mechanic will know that you can get pretty close to a torque spec by feel once you've been doing it for your entire goddamn life. 8 mil Allen heads, 75 Newton meters, 55 foot-pounds. The caliper bolts right here on the outside, those 13s, those are 35 Newton meters, around 26 foot-pounds. The brake line banjo bolt, which is again a 13, that's 45 Newton meters, which is about 33 foot-pounds. The bottom bolt and nut, that one is 160 Newton meters, or 118 foot-pounds. For that one, I just snugged it up with the impact. Like right now, it's still finger tight, like I can still move it. I just brought it in close so I wasn't sitting there with a ratchet for like 6 years. And I'm gonna jack this up until I essentially remove weight off of this jack stand, so that way I know I have the most amount of weight that I can put on the suspension to load it, and then I'm going to torque it. The reason for that is because when it goes up and down, the bushing slightly twists. And if I tighten it in this position, and then for the majority of its life, it sits twisted, that's going to drastically shorten the life of the bushing, if not completely tear it out over time. And I believe all that's left is to bleed the brakes, then try and clean up that wheel. It's currently just after 1 a.m. So I've been out here working on this kraut wagon for about 12 hours because of all the little stupid bullshit that goes wrong that no one shows you in any video. Like trying to find wherever the hell goddamn T30 socket went. Like, this has completely sucked. Trying to get all of this together, going through all of the stupid things that go wrong, all of the things that I end up taking out, like routing cables wrong, and then having to take the entire thing apart again. Or when I initially forgot to put the springs into the caliper to hold the brake pad, and then I had to take the whole thing apart again. So it's stupid stuff that if I wasn't so tired, I wouldn't be making these mistakes. So I guess the moral of the story here is sleep is important, kids. Because you make mistakes when you're tired, and then you gotta do it again. You're not saving any time by trying to do it all at once. That's advice that I should probably take myself. But here we are. I'm gonna finish this up anyway. I need to move the bucket. There's brake fluid in the reservoir. And you're holding the brake. Nothing came out. Okay, pump it up. Oh, there's some air. Oh, that's a lot of air. Okay. Oh my god, look at the color coming out. Jesus. Wow, it's a lot of old fluid. Okay, that should be good on that side for now. Now we'll go to the driver's rear. Pump it up again. Oh my god, the color coming out. Someone came in the brake lines. So gross. God damn it, he got all stuck even more, you idiot. Jesus, god damn, you're so stupid. If you stop moving, you stop being stuck more. No. No. Come on, let's go this way. Look, you ain't stupid anymore. Wow. Bleeder is right here. Okay, that brake fluid's looking pretty good. Got a whole bunch of air from that one. Okay, sounds good. No more air. Put that cap back on. Ugh. Make sure there's no brake fluid on everything. That's it. So I tried to clean that wheel up as best I could, but the brakes have good contact area. So you can see they're working pretty good. So the pads, I forgot to mention, because I didn't get new ones with that kit. Calipers that I got, they actually had pads in them, like used ones that came with them, and the wear life on those were about the same as the used ones that were in the front that I resurfaced. So it actually worked out pretty good that I didn't have to buy pads or anything. You can actually see they got like a nice even wear pattern, and everything is peachy. Like the video or dislike it, that's cool, or subscribe to the channel if you for some reason love watching my mental health slowly declining for the entertainment of people that I'll probably never meet on the internet, or don't do any of it. I'm not telling you what to do.